The ending inevitably matches the beginning. A person who starts being friends with you because it pays him will similarly cease to be friends because it pays him to do so. If there is anything in a particular friendship that attracts a man other than the friendship itself, the attraction of some reward or other will counterbalance that of friendship. What is my object in making a friend? To have someone to be able to die for, someone I may follow into exile, someone for whose life I may put myself up as security and pay the price as well. The thing you describe is not friendship, but a business deal, looking to the likely consequences with advantage as its goal. There can be no doubt that the desire lovers have for each other is not so very different from friendship. You might say it was friendship gone mad. Well then, does anyone ever fall in love with a view to a profit or advancement or celebrity? Actual love in itself, heedless of all other considerations, inflames people's hearts with a passion for the beautiful object, not without the hope, too, that the affection will be mutual. How, then, can the nobler stimulus of friendship be associated with any ignoble desire? You may say, we are not at present concerned with the question whether friendship is something to be cultivated for its own sake. But this, on the contrary, is exactly what needs proving most. For if friendship is something to be sought out for its own sake, the self-contented man is entitled to pursue it. And how does he approach it? In the same way as he would any object of great beauty, not drawn by gain, not out of alarm at the vicissitudes of fortune. To procure friendship only for better, and not for worse, is to rob it of all its dignity. The wise man is content with himself. A lot of people, Lucilius, put quite the wrong interpretation on this statement. They remove the wise man from all contact with the world outside, shutting him up inside his own skin. We must be quite clear about the meaning of this sentence and just how much it claims to say. It applies to him so far as happiness in life is concerned. For this, all he needs is a rational and elevated spirit that treats fortune with disdain. For the actual business of living, he needs a great number of things. I should like to draw your attention to a similar distinction made by Chrysippus. The wise man, he said, lacked nothing, but needed a great number of things, whereas the fool, on the other hand, needs nothing, for he does not know how to use anything, but lacks everything. The wise man needs hands and eyes and a great number of things that are required for the purposes of day-to-day life, but he lacks nothing. For lacking something implies that it is a necessity, and nothing to the wise man is a necessity. Self-contented as he is then, he does need friends and wants as many of them as possible. But not to enable him to lead a happy life. This he will have even without friends. The supreme ideal does not call for any external aids. It is homegrown, wholly self-developed. Once it starts looking outside itself for any part of itself, it is on the way to being dominated by fortune. But what sort of life, people may say, will the wise man have if he is going to be left without any friends, when he is thrown into prison, or stranded among foreigners, or detained in the course of a voyage in distant parts, or cast away on some desert shore? It will be like that of Jove, while nature takes her rest of brief duration, when the universe is dissolved, and the gods are all merged in one, finding repose in himself, absorbed in his own thoughts. Such is more or less the way of the wise man. He retires to his inner self, is his own company. So long, in fact, as he remains in a position to order his affairs according to his own judgment, he remains self-content even when he marries, even when he brings up his children. He is self-content, and yet he would refuse to live if he had to live without any human company at all. Natural promptings, not thoughts of any advantage to himself, impel him towards friendship. We are born with a sense of the pleasantness of friendship, just as of other things. In the same way as there exists in man a distaste for solitude and a craving for society, natural instinct drawing one human being to another, so too with this. There is something inherent in it that stimulates us into seeking friendships. The wise man, nevertheless, unequal though he is in his devotion to his friends, though regarding them as being no less important and frequently more important than his own self, will still consider what is valuable in life to be something wholly confined to his inner self. He will repeat the words of Stilbo, the Stilbo whom Epicurus later attacks when his hometown was captured and he emerged from the general conflagration, his children lost, his wife lost, alone, and none the less a happy man, and was questioned by Demetrius. Asked by this man, known from the destruction he dealt out to towns as Demetrius the city sacker, whether he had lost anything, he replied, "I have all my valuables with me." There was an active and courageous man, victorious over the very victory of the enemy. "I have lost," he said, "nothing." He made Demetrius wonder whether he had won a victory after all. "All my possessions," he said, "are with me," meaning by this the qualities of a just, a good, and an enlightened character, and indeed the very fact of not regarding as valuable anything that is capable of being taken away. We are impressed at the way some creatures pass right through fire without physical harm. How much more impressive is the way this man came through the burning and the bloodshed and the ruins, uninjured and unscathed. Does it make you see how much easier it can be to conquer a whole people than to conquer a single man? Those words of Stilbo's are equally those of the Stoic. He too carries his valuables intact through cities burnt to ashes, for he is contented with himself. This is the line he draws as the boundary for his happiness. In case you imagine that we Stoics are the only people who produce noble sayings, let me tell you something. See that you put this down to my credit, even though I have already settled my account with you for today. Epicurus himself, who has nothing good to say for Stilbo, has uttered a statement quite like this one of Stilbo's. "Any man," he says, "who does not think that what he has is more than ample is an unhappy man, even if he is the master of the whole world." Or if you prefer to see it expressed like this, the point being that we should be ruled not by the actual words used, but by the sense of them, a man is unhappy, though he reign the world over, if he does not consider himself supremely happy. To show you, indeed, that these are sentiments of a universal character, prompted evidently by nature herself, you will find the following verse in a comic poet. "Not happy he who thinks himself not so." What difference does it make, after all, what your position in life is, if you dislike it yourself? What about so-and-so, you may ask, who became rich in such a despicable manner, or such and such a person who gives orders to a great many people, but is at the mercy of a great many more? Supposing they say they are happy, will their own opinions to this effect make them happy? It does not make any difference what a man says. What matters is how he feels, not how he feels on one particular day, but how he feels at all times. But you have no need to fear that so valuable a thing may fall into unworthy hands. Only the wise man is content with what is his. All foolishness suffers the burden of dissatisfaction with itself. Letter number 11. I've had a conversation with your talented friend. From the very beginning of his talk with me, it was apparent what considerable gifts of character and intelligence he possesses. He gave me a foretaste of his capabilities, to which he will certainly live up, for the things he said, caught as he was quite off his guard, were entirely unrehearsed. As he was recovering his self-possession, he could scarcely get over his embarrassment, always a good sign in a young man, so deep had the blush been that suffused his face. This, I rather suspect, will remain with him even when he has built up his character and stripped it of all weakness, even when he has become a wise man. For no amount of wisdom enables one to do away with physical or mental weaknesses that arise from natural causes. Anything inborn or ingrained in one can by dint of practice be allayed but not overcome. When they face a crowd of people, some men, even ones with the stoutest of hearts, break into the sort of sweat one usually sees on persons in an overheated and exhausted state. Some men experience a trembling at the knees when they're about to speak. Some a chattering of the teeth, a stuttering tongue or stammering lips. These are things which neither training nor experience ever eliminates. Nature just wields her power and uses the particular weakness